Ladies and gentlemen, NFL news is starting to cool off a little bit, but this week in particular has been a big week for wide receiver news. I'm going to be giving you guys my reaction to those and go over some of those. I hope you guys do enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. All right, so like I predicted earlier or last week or a couple weeks back, I said that Cooper Kupp would go back to his hometown team in Washington where his grassroots are. He signed with the Seahawks. A fair move for him. I think they are a contender. They just lost Geno Smith. They got Sam Darnold. He's a good fit there. Like I said, hometown kid. A good loyal team there. I think they have a great fan base, so I'm happy for Cooper Kupp there. Yeah, man, I'm super happy for him. I think the Seahawks were a good move for him. Division rivals, unfortunately, but can't be too mad at the kid. He's going to be obviously paired up with Jackson Smith and Jigba. The Rams did get Devontae Adams. They paired him up with Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp was kind of on his downhill, his downslope. They re-signed Tutu Atwell. So, it was kind of predictable, right? We knew this was going to happen. Unfortunately, like I said, he did go to a divisional rival, which sucks, but, it's not a bad deal for him. He also did get a contract of 3 years, $45 million for the Seahawks. That's a good move for him, man. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense for him. Good money, good decent team. We're gonna see him twice a year, which sucks, but happy for the kid. And the Seahawks did obviously do him, like a little tribute. Like, hey, you're an Eastern Washington kid. You've been here all your life. You enjoy the life here. You're familiar with the places around here, so super cool. Happy to see. Next up, we have another not-so-surprising one. We have Jamarr Chase signing a 4-year deal, $161 million deal. He is now the highest non-quarterback paid in the NFL. Highest pay for a non-quarterback. Deserved Triple Crown winner. The Bengals are trying to figure out their front office, who to pay, who not to pay. Finally got his deal done. A lot of pressure lifted off Jamarr Chase's shoulders. You don't want to go into a new season with all that pressure, and obviously you were going to have him probably sit out because how do you win a Triple Crown and not get your deserved pay? On top of Jamar Chase, they also signed T. Higgins, a duo deal. 4-year, $115 million deal. They did right by their guys. I think the Bengals front office starting to come around with paying their players. Obviously, like I said, these are two guys that they drafted. They have success they have shown success. They are successful people within the org. Joe Burrow loves them. They have a great chemistry within one another. And then we have the boys, the brothers. They're staying together. Joe Burrow, I think, had a big part to play in this deal getting done. I think it took longer than expected, but this is something Joe wanted to happen. I think the organization wanted it to happen. The money just had to be right. The money had to be there, right? You're in a tricky situation with the franchises and the franchise tags and the draft coming up. You paid Joe Burrow a lot of money. You're going to have to pay Jamar Chase a lot of money after his season. T. Higgins was one of those. You're like, man, we might see him go somewhere else. Obviously, we're not super happy for them. I think they're a great trio. They're going to continue to force, cause some ruckus in the league. Another not so surprising news. We have Brandon Graham retiring after 15 NFL seasons. He tore his tricep early on in the season. He came back for the Super Bowl. He had a couple good minutes in here and there, but he got his ring. He's headed out. He's a great character. I don't know if you guys have ever watched NFL Mic'd Up, but he's in there. I love his accent. He got that southern accent, southern twang. I like it a lot. Super funny dude. Happy for him. Another Jamar Chase extension confirmed by the Bengals. Another one for the Bengals, we have Trey Hendrickson. They're working on having his deal come up. The Bengals are trying to keep pieces together that they think will win them and deep into the playoffs. They want players to make them competitive. It's a good move, man. I'm happy to see Cincinnati kind of coming around and saying, hey, you know what? These guys are pivotal points and pieces into our game and what we need. And, they're going to help us win games. So hopefully they get a deal done with Trey. We have something that came out of the blue. I love to see this. Quarterback, a season 2 for Netflix coming this July. They have featured Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. which I'm gonna interested to see what the Kirk Cousins portion of this show is gonna look like. Obviously, he did get benched mid-season for Michael Penix, a guy they drafted kind of out of the blue, right? The Falcons pick up Kirk Cousins. You're like, okay, they're kind of set, right? They have Kirk. He was a phenomenal quarterback for the Vikings. He's tenured. He understands the game. Then they ended up drafting Michael Penix Jr. In the draft. Everybody was super surprised because they thought the Falcons would go in a different direction because they just signed a quarterback. So interesting to see that within that show. I think Jared Goff is going to be a cool story. They obviously got the #1 seed. They had a phenomenal season. Joe Burrow, another one of those guys that had an MVP type season. Didn't make the playoffs, but that locker room talk will be super cool to see. I love this show. I love when the Netflix does these NFL kind of specials. The receiver one was really good. The last quarterback season was really good. So it'll be fun to watch. And then we have a run stopper coming into LA, a Poona Ford, right? Poona Ford, super strong dude. There was just an interview with Jason Kelsey talking about the hardest dude he's ever faced on the field, and Poona Ford was that guy. He said, "Man, Poona Ford, you line up against him. He's powerful. He's in your face. He's strong. He fits the bill for a Ram, right? That defensive line just got a lot stronger. Super happy about him. It's a great signing. What else do we have here? Lane Johnson coming back. Phenomenal right tackle. One of the best in the business. Jalen Hurts keeps his guys. Tough. I mean, not a lot to say there, right? Lane Johnson's him. And then we have an interesting video talking about how the free agency for the Rams so far. So Devontae Adams, they re-signed Algeric Jackson, a strong left tackle. This is interesting to me because last season we signed Joe Noteboom, which we thought he had a great season. They thought that he was going to be the next Whitworth. They were going to replace him with Joe. Joe ended up getting hurt early on. They switched, right tackles, left tackles. We signed that guy from Jonah Jackson from the Lions. He gets hurt. And then we have this makeshift offensive line. We found a couple gems. Steve Avila's a big part of that. Big dude, great dude. So, I mean, the Rams are adding weapons. They're keeping Matthew Stafford. Poona Ford. Wow, third in the run defense, huh? So yeah, it's just a quick glaze for the Rams. Obviously, I'm a Rams fan. To say about Sean McVay and Les Snead and the work that they have done with the Rams. Happy those guys are a part of my organization that I root for. Phenomenal. The guys that just have football knowledge, they understand the game and where to take a team. How to give team direction. So with that being said, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.